Well, greetings, Pastor Eric from Zion Lutheran Church in beautiful Redmond. So good to be with you on today, day 20. It is Friday, the last day of April, and we're going to end these 40 days right on the Friday before Memorial Weekend. So we're halfway through, and today's just a brief kind of review. Spent a couple of days looking at an introduction to John, his writing and how it differs from Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We looked at his purpose statement in John 20, verse 30. Then we went into the 7 signs. Now, today we're concluding the 7 people, and next week we're going to go into the 7 I ams, and then we'll look at the upper room discourse where Jesus spends some time with his disciples, his trial, his death on the cross, and then the last couple of days, the post-resurrection experiences that Jesus appears to his disciples after he is resurrected. Now, what's interesting is I was looking through this. The 7 people are John the Baptist and Nicodemus and the Samaritan woman, which we've already looked at. The next 4 people we've already looked at: the official and his son, the man at Bethsaida, the man born blind, and Lazarus. So let me just briefly recall some of those. Those were also signs, but they were people. The official and his son, remember the Gentile official went all the way around 18 miles, walked around the Sea of Galilee to get to Jesus, walking 18 miles, and he says, "Oh, my son is sick," and Jesus says he's going to be okay. And the man believed and turned and walked away, and when he got home, he found that his son was healed, actually at the same moment that Jesus said to him, "Your son will be healed." Amazing. And then he came to believe, and his entire household. The whole process of belief is so important in the Gospel of John. The 5th person was a man at Bethsaida. Remember the man who had been there for 38 years, sicker than a dog. He tried to get down into the water, but hoping he would get in there before when the water was stirred up, when they falsely believed that the spirit of healing came into those waters. He wanted someone to help him into the water. Well, actually what he needed was Jesus. Jesus healed him. He said, "Take up your pallet and walk." That was in chapter 5, verses 1 through 18. And there started to be some grumblings then against Jesus, who was not only telling this guy to work, but it was a healing on the Sabbath. Jesus asked him, "Do you want to be made well?" Kind of putting the responsibility back on the man to say to Jesus, but he never really quite did. Very interesting. It's still kind of an incomplete faith that this man had. Then there was a man born blind in John chapter 11, long discourse, verses 1 through 41 of chapter 9, where Jesus heals the man born blind. That caused quite a stir again. And people said, "Who was this?" And the guy said, "Oh, the man called Jesus." And he says a little bit later, he says, "Oh, the prophet." And at the end, he says to Jesus, "Lord, I believe." So there's that whole John 9 is one of the most beautiful encapsulations of John's theology of coming to faith, where the man Jesus, oh, he's a prophet, and then he believes in him. The 7th person was Lazarus, in another long discourse, chapter 11, verses 1 through 57, long explanation of the healing of Lazarus, and Lazarus comes out, the interplay with Mary and Martha, the waiting before he went. Remember, waited 4 days, because sometimes love waits, because instead of satisfying their immediate need, God gave them their real heart's desire. Now, those 7 people are the ones that we have talked about. We're going to talk about the I ams starting on Monday. I am the bread of life in chapter 6. I am the light of the world in chapter 8. I am the gate in chapter 10. I'm the good shepherd in chapter 10. I am the resurrection and the life in chapter 11. I am the way, the truth, and the life in chapter 14. And I am the true vine in chapter 15. Both those last two are in the upper room discourse, which is 13 through 17, where Jesus spends some time with his disciples. So that's kind of the scope of things we're going to go about starting next week, one day each on the 7 I Ams, after concluding today with the 7 people, and before that we looked at the 7 signs. So I hope this has been helpful to you. We'll keep on going. We have another 20 days of this. This is the one that we're halfway through. I'm going to end with Jesus Calling on April 30th. Here's the word from that book. When some basic need is lacking, time, energy, money, consider yourself blessed. Your very lack is an opportunity to latch on to me in unashamed dependence. When you begin a day with inadequate resources, you must concentrate on your efforts on the present moment. This is where you are meant to live, in the present. It is the place where I always await you. Awareness of your inadequacy is a rich blessing, training you to rely wholeheartedly on me. The truth is that self-sufficiency is a myth perpetuated by pride and temporary success. Fascinating sentence. Let me read that again. The truth is that self-sufficiency is a myth perpetuated by pride and temporary success. Health and wealth can disappear instantly, as can life itself. Rejoice in your insufficiency, knowing that my power is made perfect in weakness. Good word for today. You take care, have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Monday, when we start talking about the 7 I Ams. You take care till then. Bye-bye.